What's up YouTube, it's JackalGoldKick, and in this video I want to talk about why pornography sucks and the fact that it ruined my life. So for those that don't know, I have a porn addiction. I've had a porn addiction since I was like 12 or 13 years old, and really I've only made like one video about it specifically a while ago, but I feel like making a new one because I need to vent and I want to vent, because I feel like it'll just make me feel better somewhat. So my history with pornography is this. When I was a kid, the first porn type thing I seen was like me and my friend, we saw some kind of like, it was some DVD or something we found that was porn related, but we didn't know what it was at the time. Ironically, that's not when I even got addicted, even though it was the DVD visual stuff. Where my addiction started was, I was around like I think 12 or 13. So when I moved into the trailer where I started, the beginning of my YouTube channel, that place I was filming at from 2013 to 2017, when I moved to that place, that's actually where my porn addiction started. When I moved into that trailer, there was actually a porn magazine there, and there was like 2 things of lube there, and there was even a condom there, which is crazy. And that's where it started. I started looking at that porn magazine there, and then it transcended from that, and then it went into internet porn, and it's gotten even worse since then. I mean, before that there was the masturbation thing, which is taught to a lot of guys, and you know, some people try to normalize it and they try to normalize porn, but if you're someone that has an addiction or it affects you, it's not fucking normal. I don't care what anybody says. And like, you know, it started with just like the masturbation, and then it went into the porn, the magazine, and then it went from the magazine to the internet. And the crazy thing about porn and my history with porn, I didn't even know I had an addiction until years later, because growing up, you know, it wasn't really talked about, and people didn't really, there wasn't really anything about a porn addiction. People didn't, you know, back then, this is the 2010s. To give context, I was born in 1999. I'm 24. You know, back then, there wasn't people saying, you know, porn addiction's a real thing or stay away from porn. It was only like, say no to tobacco, say no to drugs, say no to alcohol. That was the thing on the school book. And, you know, I had no idea that porn addiction was a real thing, and I had no idea I could even be addicted to porn. So from the time I started with a magazine and then transitioning to the internet, so that was around the 2010s. I did the math in my head yesterday. I think I've used and had this addiction probably about 12 years. From around like 12 or 13 now to 24. And it wasn't until like 2018 or 19 that I knew I had a problem and knew I had an addiction, which sucks, because if I would have figured out I would have had an addiction way early on, I feel like it wouldn't have been as difficult to get rid of it, because I've had so much trouble getting this out of my life. And so yeah, started with a magazine, then it went into the internet, and it just transitioned from there. You know, at first it was just regular porn with women on the magazine, then it was also that on the internet, and then it transitioned into genre switching. I've switched genres. I've watched different types of porn, different types of genres, because when you become addicted to porn, it's much like drugs, you know. When you first watch it and you first see something, you know, it's stimulating at first, it gives you that dopamine hit, that high, but eventually you get desensitized and you get bored of that certain thing, so you need a certain type of other porn, and you need a certain type of other genre to watch, you know, to get the dopamine hit off of. And that's like what it becomes, and that's what it became for me. And you know, I would say from the age of 12 or 13 till I was 18 or 19, you know, I didn't even know I had an addiction. And it's weird because I noticed negative things in that time period back when I think about it. Like some of the stuff I was doing, you know, because I was exposed to porn at a young age, and that's not good because your brain is not even fully developed, and that can really affect you. And one of the things I did, like, I'm a straight person, attracted to women, but porn addiction has like messed my head up so much, and has like, you know, it messed my sexuality up, and it does for a lot of people because of the genres and shit. You switch genres. And like one of the things I did back then that definitely resulted from porn addiction was date guys on Xbox Live. That's just one of many things that I did due to my porn addiction. There's plenty of other things I did due to my porn addiction. That shit really fucks your head up. Like, so, and you know, when I was switching genres, you know, watching certain types of porn that I didn't identify with, that I wasn't even attracted to, I noticed I had like depression. I felt like guilty. I felt shame about it. And I felt low about it. And I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't know what was wrong with me. And then as time passed, you know, another thing that I experienced that I think was also connected to porn addiction is guilt and shame, as well as like bottled up emotions and bottled up thoughts and things from the past that I would constantly think about, that I constantly keep bottled up, that haunt me. And like, it was like somewhere around 2018, 2019, I was looking up something on Google. I looked this up more than once because it's something I didn't know back then, but this is how I found out I had an addiction. It was around 2018 or 2019. It was something like, why am I straight but watching gay porn? It was something like that. And I finally found somebody that said something about porn addiction. Because with porn addiction, you could be straight and you could start watching that kind of porn even though you are not attracted to that, because of the porn addiction and how it elevates and gets worse and changes and progresses. It's the same thing with somebody who could be gay. They could start watching straight porn, you know, if they have a porn addiction. And that's when I found out I had a porn addiction. And, you know, ever since then, I tried to quit it, but never had success. You know, I always failed to get rid of it. In 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. Even now, I failed to get rid of it. What porn addiction did to me is it destroyed me. It changed me as a person. It ruined my life. It's like, where do I even begin? It gave me depression. It gave me anxiety. It gave me low self-esteem. It gave me low self-worth. It gave me guilt and shame. It made me do things that I wouldn't have otherwise did based on the addiction, like the Xbox Live thing I talked about and many other things. Switch genres, no real like type of attraction towards women, and like wanting to get into a relationship and, you know, what that means and stuff like that. I mean, I've never been in a relationship, never had sex. I am a virgin. And, you know, it just really ruined my life, you know, and I'm tired of it, you know, like, since late 2022 all the way to now, since late 2022, I made a decision that I wanted to get rid of the porn addiction. And it was my best effort for the first time ever, because I made it like, I think 5 months, then I had a relapse. And that's what's happened this year of 2023. Like, what I can say through this whole year of 2023 is I've had more time off of porn than on it, but I still haven't maintained a whole year and just living the rest of my life without it. You know, I've had setbacks and relapses, a month or 2 months or 3 months, something like that. And, you know, I still don't want to give up on getting rid of it, because I can't live this way. You know, like yesterday I had a relapse, and this was even worse than the other relapses, because usually me, when I relapse, you know, and fall back into the addiction, it's like 4 times. 1's not enough, 2's not enough, 3's not enough, 4 times. But this time it was even worse. It was 5 times. I've never relapsed that much. Never did it. 5 times. You know, 5 times in one day, 3 to 4 hours spent on it. I was doing the math. I was like, holy fucking shit. So much time passed. And I just felt so much worse. And, you know, after the 5 times of using porn, like yesterday, even after 5 times of using it, I was still thinking about porn. I was still thinking about that shit even after using it 5 times. I was thinking about it, to the point of even like, I was thinking about like acting out certain things I saw in porn by using money. And I even had dreams about that shit. Now, my strategies and technique for me to stay away from porn addiction and to, you know, be away from it has been to avoid being isolated, to incorporate exercise, which walking is something I do and I've gotten used to, because that's important to get out of the house and get your mind cleared. You know, go places with somebody, avoid isolation. You know, like my strategy since late 2022 has been like avoiding isolation, going for daily walks. I remember early on I would stay outside a lot because in the house by myself I would always get triggered and I would get cravings for the addiction. And you know, I've went through phases of strategies and plans. There's also flat lines where you have this time period where you have no cravings to porn, which is great. You know, it's peaceful, but then you also feel kind of crazy and weird because your body's so used to this basically drug, and you get to see what it's like off of it. Another thing I want to talk about porn addiction is I want to talk about how it feels being on it versus being off it, because I did have some time off it. Now, being on it, you feel like complete shit. You have anxiety, you have depression, you have low self-worth, you have low self-esteem, you know, you're unmotivated to do anything, you're obsessed with lust, you sexualize people and women, not even thinking about their personality. Like, for example, I won't name names or what situation it was, but a few days ago, there was like a woman, and I saw them, and I immediately imagined some like porn sexual scenario between me and her. You know, it's crazy. And, you know, you also feel numb. You don't enjoy entertainment as much. And you just overall feel worse, you know, anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, low self-worth, unmotivated to do anything. You feel lazy. You feel dead inside. You feel like shit. And it just consumes you. And it's like every day it's all porn and masturbation. And that's like what your whole life revolves around. Now, what I noticed when I was off of porn is, you know, there are things you go through, you know, cravings, being irritable. Sometimes you have trouble sleeping. That's something else I struggle with when trying to quit porn is it's like I would try to go to sleep and then my head would be thinking about porn. And it's like I couldn't fall asleep because of me thinking about porn. But some of the things I noticed being off of porn, the times I was off it, like what I noticed is pretty much I had less anxiety. I didn't have as much depression. I didn't have as much guilt and shame. I was able to enjoy entertainment a whole lot more. Like what I noticed recently is when I was off the addiction, I was able to enjoy a video game, right? And or just entertainment in general, listening to music. You're able to enjoy it. Your senses are heightened, if that makes sense. But then when you're on it, you basically don't enjoy it as much. That's something I noticed. I also noticed I was a lot more pale back in the day. Like I was a lot more pale. Still have a weight issue that I'm trying to get rid of. But I was a lot more pale back in the day. Because I didn't go out the house at all. I was always in the house every single day. There was a car that was passing more than once. So I was just wondering what that was about. But, you know, what I noticed from being off porn is it's definitely better. You know, you don't have as much anxiety. You don't have as much depression. You don't have as much guilt and shame. You don't feel as unmotivated to do stuff. You have more energy. Your head feels more clear. You know, and you just feel better about yourself. You enjoy things more, like listening to music or playing video games. You also have more time on your hands. That's, you know, some of the stuff I noticed. But man, it's crazy how common porn addiction is now. You know, it's crazy how many of us struggle with this nowadays. You know, there's girls that struggle with it as well. I actually knew a woman online who had the same issue. So it's not just a guy thing. And, you know, some other things I noticed from porn addiction with other people is I feel like it's the cause for cheating. You know, there's a lot of people that are in relationships and they cheat because of porn. There's certain things people do because of porn. There was a guy that shot up a spa, like an Asian spa, because his sex addiction and porn addiction was so out of control. You know, or people, they start getting into the rape thing, or they start getting into the pedophile thing, or bestiality, you name it. You know, a lot of that stuff stems from porn. And it's just, porn itself sucks. Pornography fucking sucks. It should not be free. It should be banned. It should be gotten rid of. I hate, these cars are coming by again. I hope it's nothing to do with me. But I hate porn. I hate pornography. It absolutely sucks. It ruins your, like, I hate that I'm addicted to it. I wish I never even would have watched it in the first place. It sucks, because it's a waste of time and you gain nothing from it, and it's such a waste of life because all you're doing is you're basically just like, you're just, what's the word I'm looking for? You're just looking at people on a screen having sex. You're not even doing the sex yourself. You're just sitting there watching people have sex. And a lot of the stuff in porn is not even going to happen in real life. Some of the stuff I've seen in porn, the genres I've watched, is not even real. Certain body parts, you get into the video game shit, the animated stuff, certain things that just are not even realistic. And I'm just tired of this shit, man. I mean, there are certain YouTubers that talk about this that I like watching. Like, there was a recent guy, Real Talk with M2X. He had some good videos about it. Porn Reboot's a good YouTube channel, though I think their program is overpriced in my opinion, and it's going up next year. Great. Because of the fact that, I don't know, like, to me, I feel like, if you're going to get help for your addiction, like getting high or getting the addiction or other bad things, they should not be free or cheaper than getting help. Like, I was watching certain videos of like homeless people that were drug addicts, and it was cheaper for them to get their high than to actually go get help. That's fucked up. Because I know, like, with other addictions, there's different things. Like, I know, like, I think some of them said with drug addiction, they wouldn't be able to move and, and these certain other things. But pornography sucks in general. And I hate the fact that I started watching it, and I hate porn addiction, from the anxiety to the depression to low self-worth, low self-esteem, to doing things, to being unmotivated, being pale, feeling dead inside, feeling numb to things, being obsessed with lust, and it just sucks in general. And it's a very hard thing to get rid of. But my new strategy to get rid of it is going to be, still the daily walks, as well as avoid being isolated as much as possible. I've started sleeping in the living room around someone so I can avoid isolation and not have to, go to sleep isolated and deal with the porn shit. I've also hooked my TV up in the living room around someone so that if I want to play games or get on YouTube, I don't have to be isolated, those are some of the things I'm incorporating. If I end up being isolated, though, I will go on the back porch of my place, or I'll do a live stream, something like that. And I'm not going to give up on getting rid of this addiction because I experienced what it felt like being off the addiction, and I don't want this crap in my life. It's terrible. And it's just crazy how many people struggle with it. And especially our generation, all of us in our 20s and stuff. I mean, there's people that struggle with it in all walks of life, but it's so much more even common now and talked about now as a new issue. And also, another thing that porn addiction does to people, especially guys, is it gives them erectile dysfunction, where they're not able to be into the sex with a woman or even finish. That's what that shit can do, And, sadly, there is some people out there that don't think porn addiction's a real thing, or don't think it's a real problem, or they kind of laugh it off. And I think those people are foolish, or they have an addiction themselves and they haven't made an attempt to quit, because it is a real thing. I mean, there's even celebrities that have this issue. Kanye West has a porn addiction, and he talked about it. And another thing I noticed about addiction in general, somebody said this in a video, and I think it's very true, that, addiction in general, especially porn, it leaves you spiritually contaminated, where it's like, because of addiction, your life will never really be peaceful no matter what. I could be rich and famous to be the biggest YouTuber ever, but if I still have this addiction, I'm still going to hate myself. I'm still going to hate life. That's why certain celebrities, I don't know their full story. That's why probably certain celebrities kill themselves, or certain celebrities get on drugs because, well, I don't know, but like you know, with addiction, it's like it ruins your life. So even if you have all the money, you have this or have that, if you still struggle with this issue, it's not going to make a difference. So yeah, pornography sucks and it ruined my life. I just want to make a video venting about it and talking about it. I wish I never started watching it. It ruined my life. It ruined me as a person. From the depression, the anxiety, the guilt and shame, the genre switching, using it all the time I waste on it, being unmotivated, being lazy, and you gain nothing from it. You know, it's literally just videos and pictures of sexual content, of things that won't happen in real life, and things that you're not going to be involved in, and things you're not even going to be able to do, and also filled with things that don't even exist, like, you know, like, I don't want to be too triggering, but gigantic body parts with, like, you know, the animated shit. You know, that stuff's not real. And you know, you also got to watch out for triggers. You know, there's a lot of things that can trigger you, certain things in movies, games, stuff online, certain things in websites. Like, there's definitely a lot of triggers I've had to avoid. Like with movies, I have to be careful what kind of movies I watch, because too much explicit stuff in movies was actually what led to my first relapse in 2023. I watched too many movies with that shit, and one thought led to another, and I ended up relapsing. And you know, you got to be careful of triggers. Like, I've uninstalled Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, because, you know, if you go on there, you're going to see something triggering. Now, YouTube has that issue too, but YouTube's kind of a necessary evil for me, because I make videos and I do make money off of this, so it's like I kind of have to keep YouTube. But even with that, I will be careful. I do have like Messenger, but I got rid of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram because, you know, it's just to avoid that shit. I mean, you know, no matter what, you're eventually going to see something triggering. There's just no other way around it, but you got to avoid the triggers. But I would say for me, my biggest trigger is isolation. You know, being alone for long periods of time, you know, starts getting the mind thinking, and I start thinking about porn, and the craving really starts up. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I made a video back in the day called "Coming Clean About My Porn Addiction," and, you know, I just wanted to make a new video about it. Has this year been more successful than other years of my addiction? Yes, but I'm still struggling. You know, I'm still going through hell with it. People say religion can help. That's something I'm trying. We'll see how that goes. But porn in general sucks, you know, especially when you get addicted to it. Ruins your life, and it's like one of the worst addictions because it's free. You can access it anywhere. Phones, TV, fucking game consoles. That shit's even kind of on YouTube if you look hard enough. And, like, you know, it's just, it's everywhere. It's free. And, you know, I think the internet made it worse, because at least if it didn't go to the internet, you know, I could have just destroyed the magazine and been done with it, right? Burn that shit up. But, you know, it evolved to the internet. Now you got OnlyFans, and I've been hearing some shit about AI, and it's just like, I want to take this shit and get it out of my life, you know? And I don't want to do no counting shit. I don't want to do no goal stuff. No, I want to get it out of my life forever and live a life to never use it again, and to never masturbate again, and never be involved in it again, ever again, because it ruined my life, you know, much like other addictions do for other people. And it sucks. It's very difficult to get rid of it because of the cravings, because of the triggers, because of, you know, getting out of something you've been used to for so long. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else I can really think of talking about in this video that I could say, but I just had to vent and talk about it. You know, another thing I notice about porn is when I'm away from porn and off it for a while, I talk better. I don't have as much anxiety, and I have a little bit more confidence in speaking. But I notice I have a lot more anxiety and a lot more issues speaking when I'm using porn. Like, if you notice certain parts of this video, I'm like, you know, even certain things I would do were affected by porn. Like when I didn't really have any good success in, you know, early 2022 using porn a lot, it would even affect my YouTube work. Like, I remember trying to edit my Resident Evil 1 movie review. It took me like 2 days to finish that. And a big part of that is because I would pause editing it and go use porn, come back and edit the video, then go use porn again. Hell, there was one time where I had to do something like, you know, wash dishes, which is, you know, something to do. And I had such a craving for porn that I literally stopped washing dishes, which is something productive to do, and went and used porn. That happened back in the day. Another thing that's crazy about this whole porn addiction problem I have is that, you know, I would say from like 2014, because maybe it existed in 2013, but I would say from 2014 to now, my entire like YouTube channel has been made, like I've made videos and made content from someone who's an addict. So it's kind of crazy, because I'm sure a lot of videos I've made and maybe how I express myself or talked or certain things I've done, a lot of it probably, you know, is because of like the porn addiction, especially like the anger and rage. That's something else, you know, and you know, like you look at someone like Eminem, he made certain type of rap songs and music being on pills versus being off of it. So yeah, pornography sucks and ruined my life. You know, I just want to make a video talking about it, venting about it. It's a terrible addiction, and I just hope that I can get rid of this shit one day, because I want this shit out of my life. It fucking sucks, man. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I could really say. I mean, you know, I guess the last thing I'll mention is, you know, there's a porn blocker thing you can use, but I don't think that's really useful for very long, because you can find ways around it. You know, I tried to use a porn blocker, and while it kept me away from porn, I still found a way to get to porn. I just looked it up on my game console and recorded it with my phone camera. You know, as an addict, you'll find a way. So yeah, that's it for this video about porn addiction. I had to talk about it. So that's it for this video. Peace. And maybe some context. I know I said this at the end of the video, but I want to take my videos, I want to give a little more context to the porn addiction. You know, I think the reason that I got addicted to porn and why I use porn, though, is like with addictions in general, it's because you run to an addiction when your life sucks and when you're dealing with a lot of issues. And I feel like I didn't talk about this enough in the video, so now I'm going to talk about it. You know, around the time I started getting into porn and getting addicted to it, that was around the time I dropped out of school due to some bullying bullshit. I was also I had an abusive father. I didn't really have a good father figure, so I didn't really have a strong male role model figure, and that's very important for someone, especially a male, a kid. I didn't have a strong male role model. I had a really bad father. Dropped out of school and ended up kind of living this reclusive lifestyle for years, and you know, never been in relationships, virgin. You know, I've had some real life friends, but some of them either stopped fucking with me, like the one I dissed in a Mr. B video, or I had to cut them out of my life because they changed for the worse. Or there was one friend I had to get rid of because his dad was a dick. And, you know, I would say the reason I got addicted to porn and use it is to escape. You know, that's why people use addiction, to escape from life, to escape from things that suck. And I think that's why I use porn and why I became addicted to porn, because my life sucks, you know. I'm still mostly a reclusive person, you know, in the house every single day. I don't really have a job. The only thing I really have is a YouTube thing. I don't have any real life friends like that. Never been in a relationship, a virgin. You know, I had a weak father figure, so I didn't have a strong male role model. Dropped out of school. Never really made a whole bunch of money like that. Never drove a car, you know. I don't even know how to shoot a gun. You know, these are just a lot of things. And I think my reclusive lifestyle, living like that for years, dropping out of school, my piece of crap father who was a bad role model, not being in a relationship with a girl, never experiencing that, not being super consistent, having the best luck with real life friends, never being able to drive a car, not having a fulfilling life, maybe a job or something, or a lot of money. And I think also, you know, just kind of this age we're getting into where we're like living on the internet, and, you know, it's like internet kind of like, it feels like a lot of us are more on the internet, social media, than real life. You know, I've had a pretty bad life so far in a lot of ways. I feel like, you know, not the best lifestyle. And I think because of my lifestyle and all the bad things I mentioned and what I went through, and, you know, all the trauma and all the shit I went through from my dad, is, you know, everything in general that I'm talking about, as well as, you know, how my father treated me, which is being physically abusive, but more so being emotionally abusive, putting me down, and then also being isolated in the house a lot. But like him putting me down emotionally, really damaging me, low self-esteem, low self-worth, making me feel like shit, not having a strong male role model, dealing with that crap, and then dealing with dropping out of school and all these other things, I think is what really led me to become addicted to porn and hang on to that and run to it all the time and use it all the time. Because it's like, well, life sucks. I got this issue and that issue and that issue. So let me run to porn. Let me run to porn. And I think that's what started the porn addiction issue. So I just wanted to add that in there because I feel like I didn't talk about that specifically in the video. So yeah, you know, I go for walks. I'm attempting to lose weight. You know, at least I got the YouTube channel. You know, there's a lot of things in life I would like to achieve, but the main goal still first is getting rid of this porn addiction. Then we can start to focus on other things. But you can't focus on everything at once because it's too much. You know, if you're already trying to end an addiction, that's, you know, hard enough. You can't do this and do that and do that because you'll blow a gasket. You'll overwhelm yourself. You know, it's starting to rain, which I figured it would because of how the sky was looking. But yeah. Probably repeated myself, but I had to add the extra context in this video of why I think I do run to porn and why the addiction started. You know, it's a way to escape from life, escape from reality, because in the moment, you know, when I use porn or I use the addiction, you know, the outside world doesn't exist. All your issues go away. Your life problems don't exist. You're just zoned in on this and you feel so good. You feel like you're on top of the world. But then as soon as you finish, you feel like complete shit and you regret it, and then you keep going back to it, and then it just continues from there. A deadly, bad cycle. So, yeah, I think I've covered everything, hopefully. That's it for the video and everything I had to say. Yeah. Peace out, and, yeah.